For over 3 decades, whenever Jeff Goldblum told stories about making Jurassic Park, one memory always came up: before the dinosaurs, before Steven Spielberg, and before any of the groundbreaking special effects that changed cinema forever. It was a memory of how Sam Neill used to make him laugh between takes on a remote Hawaiian island where no one knew if their wild movie experiment would actually work. Jeff has shared that story for 33 years, but when he tells it now, it carries a weight it never used to have. Underneath that famous, charming on-screen presence sat a man who spent nearly 14 years of his childhood too afraid to speak a single word. It was a private wound so deep that almost none of the cast and crew laughing along with him on that dinosaur island had any idea it existed. Sam was born on a kitchen table in County Tyrone, Northern Ireland, on September 14, 1947. Named Nigel John Dermot Neill, he was the son of an English mother and a New Zealand father serving with the Irish Guards. When he was 7, his family relocated to Christchurch, New Zealand. Arriving in a rough playground with a refined British accent and the name Nigel was, as he later admitted, simply asking for trouble. To fit in and avoid confusion with another boy named Nigel, he took on the nickname Sam, a name that would stay with him for the rest of his life. What almost nobody understood during those early years was how much that relocation cost him emotionally. Young Sam developed a severe stutter, so crippling that it effectively swallowed his entire childhood whole. Decades later on Australian television, he described a heartbreaking silence that stretched for nearly 14 years, admitting that he spent most of his childhood praying people wouldn't speak to him just so he wouldn't have to answer back. Relief finally came slowly. First through an outdoor challenge program that forced him past his physical boundaries, and later through university drama. Studying English literature led him into a campus production of Macbeth, where he made a life-altering discovery: performing as someone else unlocked a voice that had been trapped inside him for over a decade. Inside that same university theatre group at Victoria University of Wellington, Sam met John Clark, a sharp-witted young satire artist. Nobody in that student production could have predicted that the friendship forged in the late 1960s would outlast almost every professional connection either man would ever make. Decades later, when they finally shared the screen in the 1990 dark comedy Death in Brunswick, Sam called it the single happiest filming experience of his life, a remarkable statement from an actor who had worked alongside legends like Meryl Streep and Sean Connery. His acting career took him far beyond that Christchurch playground. An international breakthrough in Sleeping Dogs in 1977 led to acclaimed roles in My Brilliant Career and even a screen test for James Bond. Through all the rising fame, his parents remained his anchor. Decades after their passing, Sam still spoke of them in the present tense, quietly carrying a deep devotion he rarely discussed in public. Then came the golden run that solidified him as a world-class leading man, a submarine officer in The Hunt for Red October, a husband in Dead Calm opposite a young Nicole Kidman, and a silent husband in Jane Campion's The Piano. Kidman was only 18 when they made Dead Calm, and she remembered how Sam took her under his wing, building a friendship that lasted a lifetime. It was on that same set in 1989 that Sam met makeup artist Noriko Watanabe. They married that same year and welcomed their daughter Elena in 1991, joining his son Tim, born in 1983, to actress Lisa Harrow. There was also a hidden chapter Sam kept private for more than 20 years. In his early 20s, long before fame or financial security, he had fathered a son who was placed for adoption. Father and son did not reunite until 1994, a second chance at fatherhood that Sam handled with his characteristic discretion and quiet warmth. Sam opened his personal memoir with a story about young Elena. A schoolteacher had asked her class what their parents did for a living. Elena's answer about her famous actor father was both funny and accurate. "My daddy sits in caravans," she said, referring to the endless waiting inside trailers on film sets. When Elena later developed a stutter of her own, a speech therapist asked if speech impediments ran in the family. Sam, who had kept his childhood pain buried for decades, found himself explaining his past out loud for the first time. Learning that stuttering was often an inherited condition was a revelation to him, even after living through it. From that point on, he became one of the most candid public figures on the subject, offering hope to countless young people. Off camera, Sam built a second life that meant just as much to him as any Hollywood role. In 1993, the very year Jurassic Park made him a household name, he founded Two Paddocks, a vineyard in central Otago, New Zealand. He planted his first grapes the exact same year he was running from CGI dinosaurs in Hawaii. He joked that his Pinot Noir had far more depth than he could ever aspire to have, playfully calling it sex in a glass on national television. His farm eventually became an internet sensation, as Sam shared videos of his farm animals named after famous Hollywood friends, including farm animals named Meryl Streep and Michael Caine. That unbothered confidence extended into his political views. In his later years, he publicly fought against a proposed gold mine near his vineyards, standing his ground even when criticized by government officials. Then came 2017, a year Sam described as one of the hardest of his adult life. His marriage to Noriko quietly ended after nearly 30 years together. Then, on April 9, his oldest friend in the world, John Clark, passed away suddenly from a heart attack at age 68. Sam's public reaction posted hours later was raw and heartbreaking. "My dear old friend John Clark has died. I cannot speak." It was a devastating sentence from a man who had spent his adult life speaking openly about overcoming a speech impediment. 50 years of shared memories reduced to 6 simple words. Yet, his acting career continued to flourish. He delivered iconic performances as a tormented wizard in Merlin, the ruthless Major Chester Campbell in Peaky Blinders, and Cardinal Wolsey in The Tudors. Then in 2022, while promoting Jurassic World Dominion, Sam noticed swollen glands that doctors initially mistook for lingering COVID symptoms. Further medical testing revealed a devastating diagnosis: Stage 3 angioimmunoblastic T-cell lymphoma, a rare and aggressive blood cancer. "I'm crook," Sam wrote bluntly as he began his memoir. "Possibly dying. I may have to speed this up." He never bothered learning the complex medical terminology for his disease, preferring the blunt summary his close friend Stephen Fry gave him. When his first round of chemotherapy failed, doctors placed him on a rare experimental trial drug. 4 months later, scans showed full remission. Sam wrote with profound relief, "I'm a living man, with every intent of going on living." In an interview with The Guardian, he stated his mindset plainly: "I'm not afraid to die, but it would annoy me, because I'd really like another decade or two. I've got my lovely little grandchildren. I want to see them get big." Which brings the story to the legendary friendship that anchored him through it all, the bond forged on a fictional dinosaur island in 1992 that never faded. Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum met on the set of the original Jurassic Park, playing Dr. Alan Grant and Dr. Ian Malcolm. The connection between them was tested almost immediately. In September 1992, while shooting on the Hawaiian island of Kauai, Hurricane Iniki slammed directly into their location. It was a Category 4 storm so severe that the cast and crew genuinely feared for their lives, taking shelter together inside a hotel ballroom. "We all became very close surviving Hurricane Iniki," Sam recalled years later. 3 tense weeks on the island before nature destroyed their sets forced everyone to evacuate back to Los Angeles. That shared survival collapsed the typical distance between Hollywood co-stars, building deep trust under pressure long before anyone knew the film would become a global phenomenon. The bond that followed was built on comedy, affection, and mutual respect. Sam often noted that Jeff was immensely entertaining, someone capable of turning tedious downtime into unforgettable memories. That dynamic was tested again during the filming of Jurassic World Dominion in 2020. Severe pandemic protocols locked the returning cast inside a hotel quarantine near London for 4.5 months. Sam credited Jeff directly with keeping their spirits alive. Jeff would sit at the hotel piano, starting sing-alongs and dances for the beleaguered crew. "What more fun could you have," Sam joked, "than Jeff Goldblum and all those other idiots?" Videos from that quarantine showed Sam and Jeff sitting together at the piano keys, singing old classics like "I Remember You." Off-screen, their friendly teasing became legendary. Sam frequently joked about their contrasting personalities. While Sam was a weathered vineyard owner who loved fine wine, Jeff and Laura Dern were health-conscious smoothie people who politely declined his Pinots. When Jeff's birthday rolled around, Sam posted a picture comparing their Funko Pop figurines, teasing Jeff's iconic, chest-bearing pose compared to his own plain character design. Because of that closeness, Jeff was among the very first people Sam called when his cancer diagnosis arrived in 2022. He shared it with us early on, Jeff confirmed, adding that Sam stayed in constant contact throughout his treatments, showing incredible bravery and good spirits. When Dominion finally reunited the original trio on screen for the first time in nearly 30 years, Jeff described the reunion as a high school gathering that exceeded every expectation. Seeing Sam and Laura again after decades, after surviving a hurricane, a global pandemic, and a cancer battle, was a deeply moving experience for everyone involved. On July 13, 2026, Sam Neill passed away peacefully in Sydney, surrounded by his family, while still cancer-free. Word reached Jeff within hours. Instead of releasing a cold, formal publicist statement, Jeff shared a private video that Bryce Dallas Howard had filmed during their 2020 quarantine. In the video, Sam, Jeff, and Laura Dern were crowded around a hotel piano, their voices blending seamlessly as they sang the Beatles' Blackbird. Beneath the video, Jeff wrote just one simple line: "The next great adventure begins. Love always and forever."